From Fred Phelps to the Kinsey Six, from Glenn Miller to Two Live Crew, and everyone in between, we do them all. We are KJAG Radio and Jiggy Jag TV.
Incorporated cities in Kansas. Over half have less than a 400 population. 3/4 have, over half of those 627 have less than a 400 population. 3/4 have a 1,500 population or less. Now the reason I say that one, that's where about that many towns are volunteer-led. No city manager, no paid chamber, no paid eco-devo, volunteers. They have my heart. Because think about those folks trying to sustain a community with volunteers, no expert leadership, just passion and desire. And you know, they probably lost their school or grocery store, and they're still trying. And anyway, so I think that some of these places in the book and other things we do will take people to those places, and you'll get to see those towns more than statistics, but real people that live there and love their towns, and they've all been an inspiration to me over the years. So anyway, we decided to do this contest, like Connie said, starting in 2007. We hope we didn't get you to the contest fatigue level. We had an explorer come to me and say, we should do the 7 wonders of Kansas, like the 7 wonders of the world. I said, how about 8? In 1990, when Dad and I did our first guidebook, we'd go around and say, what does your town have? We'd like to put it in the guidebook. 3. We don't have anything in our town. Go to the next town. That hurt. So we helped them focus on what they had. We said, even if you don't have anything still standing, you have evidence of architecture, art, commerce, cuisine, customs, geography, history, and people. It helps you focus. And so in the end, we did a contest for each of those 8 elements, plus the overall. Wendy, what do I want to say beforehand? And then people said, you know...
About how many people voted?
Oh, yeah. In the end, 100,000 people voted in the contest, which to me, what was wonderful, that meant 100,000 people learned a little bit more about Kansas. Foreign countries, every state in the Union, as good. And lots of those little places could never afford that kind of promotion, so they got it through this contest that was free to them but had great result. So in the end, they said, they were always saying, well, we'd like all of those places put together in one place. So we thought, okay, we'll do a guidebook. Now, to do a guidebook, I need a really good photographer, a Kansan. I think I'll get Kansas Explorer number 1261 to do it. That was Harlan Schuster from Morrill, Kansas. You know, up there near Reserve, and it's up there near Sabetha and Seneca, Hiawatha. Harlan's a little crazy, so I knew he could do it. And you'll understand that in a minute. So from May to November of last year, he went to all 216 places to take pictures. Of course, someone needed to make arrangements for him, and that was me. That took a little bit of time. So in the end, this guidebook was the result. My sister did the design, Mennonite Press did the printing. It's all Kansas, and I'm going to end up, don't let me forget at the end, Wendy, to give my Kansas store spiel. Don't let me forget that. So what we're going to do now is this fun little slideshow that is, there's 2 things that we're going to show you. Some are just...
Okay.
Back here on salinatv.info, and we're out here at the Salina Public Library getting ready for a presentation. Marci Penner's with us. Marci, how are you?
I'm good.
Tell us about this book.
This little 8 Wonders of Kansas guidebook. Did you hear of the contest?
No.
Well, they went on from 2007 to 2010.
Okay.
And our goal was to engage the public in thinking about Kansas. So we thought a contest is good. So instead of the 7 wonders of the world, we went to the 8 wonders of Kansas. 8 is important to us because when Dad and I did our first guidebook, we'd go to a town and say, "What do you have?" And they'd say, "We don't have anything." And we came up with 8 things that every town has, even if it's just the evidence.
Yeah.
Architecture, art, commerce, cuisine, customs, geography, history, and people. So we did a contest for each one. The 24 finalists in each, then the public voted on the 24 to determine the top 8. This book is a culmination of all 216 finalists in those contests. And so it's a 272-page book that has over 800 photos taken by Kansan Harlan Schuster. He went to all 216 places between May and November of 2010.
Yeah.
My sister designed it, Mennonite Press printed it, and now the fun part is sharing it with the Kansas public, and the goal is to get people to travel Kansas, help people know Kansas, help people love Kansas. And I think the format of the book, the size, the photos, the easy information to help people get out there will really help make a difference about, if it's easy to go somewhere, you'll go. But if you can't find the hours or directions, it's hot, you don't go.
Now, how long did it take to get this put together, the whole concept and getting everything organized?
You mean the book or the...
Yes, the book.
Well, because we had done the contests, we had a lot of things in place. It took Harlan May to November to take the pictures. Then my sister had to design the book, which she did in about 2-3 months. I wrote it, arranged the information, someone edited it. So Harlan started in May, and the next April we had our opening at the Eisenhower Presidential Library. So that's a pretty good turnaround for a book with that size and photographs. The mission of our foundation, the Kansas Sampler Foundation, is to preserve and sustain rural culture. And we feel that helping the public know about Kansas places, especially rural, that are often forgotten about, we think that helps meet that mission. So it wasn't a tourism venture, it was the bottom line goal is to help support rural communities.
Yeah. Well, since the release, how's the reception been to the book?
It's been terrific.
Yeah.
It helps that we've done previous guidebooks, so people hopefully trust our product, and I think people are hungry for the information. You give them a good product, and the reception's been great, which makes me feel good for all those places, because all those places are getting a lot of attention, and some of them you just likely wouldn't have heard of unless you lived right, in a certain place. So we've got the largest cities in Kansas involved in the book. We've got unincorporated towns. So the contest brought out all sizes, all shapes, all parts of Kansas, food, art, geography, history, the whole gamut. And I think it's a good, this is our sesquicentennial year. I think it's a good archival presence, in 20, 30 years to look back at the book and say, in 2011, this is what people were thinking were the top entries in these different categories. So it's a good slice of Kansas life in our first 150 years.
Now, going around and doing presentations like we're going to be doing today here at the Salina Public Library and places like this, give us a little bit of background on what you're going to do during the presentation. Is it like show and tell, or?
It's, my whole goal always is that when we're done with the presentation, at least one more person will want to go out and travel the state. But because they've made the effort to come, I also like to tell some behind-the-scenes stories of how the photos were put together. That might not sound really interesting, but it is. So you just give them a little extra that you can't get without coming to a program. But really, our goal with the programs is to get people out there or just to help give them more knowledge about the state.
Is there a follow-up plan for something like this?
Well, we're not going to do another series of contests. It was a one-time contest group. The follow-up will be that Wendy, my assistant, and I will next year start going to every town in the state again. That's only 627 towns. And the result will be a statewide comprehensive Explorer guidebook. So we've done one of those before. So the follow-up will be a more comprehensive book than just the 216 wonders. When we do that journey around the state, it also gives me a first-hand view of what's going on in rural communities, and so there's a lot more of intake than just what there is to see and do. It's how are rural towns faring, what's the common issues, where's the good energy at, and how are they making it happen, how are they sustaining themselves. So you combine our 8 Wonders book with all the other great efforts out there and put it all together, and I think we need to brag more about our state, love it a little bit more, and give people a reason to feel good about it, and we hope our book does that.
Where can we find more information on the book, on you?
You could go to 8wonders.org or kansassampler.org. In Salina, the Smoky Hill Museum sells the books. We've got a list on the website of where you can find the books all over the state, or you can order it at 8wonders.org. But we hope we're growing that audience of who's interested in seeing Kansas. And it takes an explorer's mentality to really want to get out there and see Kansas. Maybe we're not a traditional tourist state. We have some of those things, but we have an infinite great number of explorer places. And the 8 Wonders book serves as a starter kit for those types of places.
Well, I appreciate you doing this.
You made it
Great
easy,
book.
James. Then you did a good job there.
And thanks for watching SalinaTV.info.